guys. So I'm in front of the giant BJD dollhouse and I'm in the process of lining up all my SD boys so we can go through and look at the different sizes of BJDs in my collection. First, I'm going to work on this guy. I've purchased him. I purchased the body separate. This is the blue ResinSoul body, and this is an Akagidoll head that I got from Alice Collection, and I love this sculpt. It looks like a young boy. So what I'm going to do now is dye the head, and then perhaps in a different video we'll come back. He'll join his friends on the second row there, and we'll talk about the different sizes of BJDs in my collection. We're going to start with the SD size and work our way down to the tinies. But let's go ahead and dye his head. So guys, this is the head that I'm going to dye today. This is the Akagidoll, and this is a SD size head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye it blue. But before I dye it blue, I want to open these eye openings. I don't like this little ridge here, so I'm going to try to modify it by just sanding it back. And what I use is this thing here. This is for nails. I got this at Savers. Definitely will not encourage you guys to use this on yourselves, but definitely use it to work on dolls and things like that. This I find to be very handy. I also have a Dremel, but this I find more gentle, and I really want to be careful when I'm working with such a beautiful sculpt. This face has a young look to it, and it will work well with my doll that's blue. And I've been thinking about customizing this for a while, and I'm never in any hurry to do this because I just love these dolls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this head cap off. It hooks to the back, so it's very sturdy. So now I have it off. This is a nice thick piece of resin. And what I'm going to do is just hold this like this, turn this on, and then I'm going to start working. So I turn it upside down. I'm just going to sand gently here. See, this is very gentle, and you see it slipping. So I'm going to hold it tight and just go like that, just to sand it back. And I feel confident. Let me turn this off a little bit and tell you, then I'm just going to go to work. I feel confident doing it because this line is already here for me. I'm not guessing how big to make the opening. So I'm just going to go to work and probably speed up this video. So guys, this is what he looks like now. His eye holes are a little wider because his face, he's supposed to look like a young boy. So now I'm going to finish cleaning him up and get him ready to be dyed. So the dye I'm going to use today is called iDye Poly, and it is used to dye things that have a plastic base, like this resin. It's great for polyester and nylon. I'm not using RIT because RIT is used for fabric. So I'm going to do the coffee pot hot water method for this dye as well. I will boil water and transfer it to my coffee carafe and then dissolve this dye in it. So I'll show you that right now. So here's my setup. I'm using the coffee pot again, and it's on to stay hot, so you guys be very careful. And I have lots of these empty carafes. They don't go with this coffee pot because I don't use them with the lid. Basically, I'll just put it in there to stay hot. I'm going to use this one with the wide mouth. And I picked these up. I actually got this for nothing. I got this from the transfer station or the town dump, as you will. We live in a town with a dump, so you can go there, pick up whatever you need. It's their way of recycling. So I picked this up. I picked up, I think 3 or 4. So this one I'm going to use whenever I use blue dye. So this is what the dye packet looks like. It has an intensifier. And here's the dye. And I have my heavy-duty plastic chopsticks for agitating. And the instructions are in the inside. I've read those, but they are for fabric, so you have to modify it. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to pour the leftover dye in this wide mouth ball jar, mason jar. And in the meantime, I've tied the doll with a string so I can dip it in the dye. And I've also tied the doll's head cap with a string. And now I'm going to bring my water to a boil in the microwave, and then I'm going to dump it in here. But before I do that, I'm going to mix this and the dye in here. So I'm going to do that right now while the water is boiling in the microwave. So this is boiling hot water that I'm going to carefully put in here. And I'm just going to fill it to the top because it needs to cover the BJD head. And you guys probably should use a pot holder. I am using a piece of cloth that I found in the studio. So you just mix it till all the granules are dissolved. You just keep going, and then you just mix it up. I'm so excited. I see granules though. So this is probably going to take a little bit of time to dissolve. So this is fairly dissolved. So I'm going to try to dip the head cap in the dye to see what happens. Wow, this is a very, very brilliant blue. It is nowhere near the color of my guy, but look at this. Look at the way it's taking. Make sure you clean up the whole doll very well. Take a look at this. This is very hot, so you guys have to be very careful. Look at this. This is probably, look at that. It is very blue. So, and I think it darkens as it dries from what I understand. So I'm going to actually take this out right now and just leave it here. This is a very dark blue. Nowhere near the color of my guy though. And I'm going to immediately rinse this in water to set the dye. And then I'm going to try the face. So guys, this is the head cap. I just love it. I actually just love this. So now I'm going to try to dye the whole head. And if it takes and works out well, I am going to dye the entire doll's body, because this is a really nice deep blue and it is really fantastic. And be careful of the water. It is extremely hot. So I'm just going to leave it in there for a while. Let him get all blue. Oh my gosh, guys. He actually looks a little bit purple. This is the royal blue. Let's take a look. Oh my God. How beautiful is this guy? Take a look at this. Oh, I love this color. So I'm going to go rinse this off and then I'll show you guys what he looks like. So guys, take a look at this. This is what happens. I absolutely love this. So this is the blue I'm going to go with. I'm now going to dye the rest of his body to match this blue. And I rinsed it in water. And I might even do a couple more dunks to get him a very dark blue. And this is why I use the coffee pot. I'm going to take this here and put it on here. So this is going to keep it heated. This, I covered my whole surface with plastic and paper, so I'm not worried at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my doll. I'm going to take him apart and going to let this heat up and stay hot. And then I'm going to dip his entire body in this blue. And hopefully I'll get a doll that is this color. The body might be a little darker, but I don't mind. But look at how dark and beautiful and cobalt blue this is. They have several colors on Amazon. So I'm going to put a link in the description and you guys can order whichever colors you want. But I absolutely am in love with this face. I opened the eyes and this looks like a beautiful boy. So I'm going to dye the rest of his body to match this head. So I'm going to take him apart right now. So guys, take a look at this. This is the color blue we started, and this is what we ended up with. This is a rich cobalt blue. I had it in the back of my mind that if the colors weren't going to be anywhere close, I was just going to dye this body. This is an old body, and even if I wanted to get a head this color, I don't think I can get it. He's yellowed, and dyeing a lighter color to this darker color will be easier. Even if it's way darker, I don't mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this body apart and just plop it right here in this coffee maker. Leave it a few minutes to see if it darkens up, and then just rinse it in the cold water and I'll be done. So I'll try to show you guys as much as I can, but I'll show you the finished product real soon. I am still dyeing the pieces. I don't use the stovetop. I just use my coffee pot. I use it for a lot of things, and it is doing a brilliant job. Because I'm in my doll room, I don't want a stove there, or I don't want a microwave. I don't want anything except this coffee pot as a heat source. I feel very safe using it, and for me, this works. A lot of people don't use this method, but I do, and look at what I have achieved with it. These pieces have been dried, they've been rinsed, and they're just going to sit here to dry. And in the coffee pot, we have the torso. Because it's a big piece, it's going to stay in there for a little bit of time, and it's going to stay in there by itself. After the torso's done, I'm going to continue with the rest of these pieces, and then we will have a completely dyed doll, all in one brilliant, beautiful cobalt blue color. I'm going to string up the doll and show you the completed doll when I'm done. And in another video, I'm going to show you how I strung up this doll. So I'm just going to keep dyeing, and I'll come back and show you the completed doll. So guys, I am done. I have dyed my doll, and I am so excited. I love how he came out. Take a look at this brilliant blue color. When I first started thinking about doing this was when I first ordered the doll. This has taken me about a year and a half to get to this stage, to have the guts to go ahead and dye him. And I'm thinking to myself right now, why did I wait so long? It's because I was nervous. I did so much research that I scared myself. And my advice to you guys is to just go for it. And something that really helped me was doing this my way. I didn't want to do this on the stovetop. I don't want to do this near my kids in our kitchen that we used have food. I don't want to do that. I want to do this in my doll room using my coffee pot and taking it slow. I think the reason the manufacturers want you to use a stove is because it speeds up the process. The dolls are not going anywhere, so take your time. With the coffee pot, for me, personally, just for me, I put the torso in and I went and did some computer work. I took my time with every stage of this process. It took a while, but in the end, I have a beautiful completed doll. I didn't have to use the stovetop. I used minimal heat on the coffee pot, and it worked for me. I kept it on, and I kept the dye bath brewing, and it was perfect. And look at him, it was a uniform color. And I have leftovers in the mason jars, and they might end up being more concentrated. That will produce a darker color, or I might be able to dilute it. I'm just going to experiment. I feel so free now that I've dyed at least one doll, and I like the results. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.